Hey guys, Rexar here with a new video. So today we're doing a review, and we're reviewing Winter Wrap Up. This is a classic. I just enjoyed rewatching it, honestly. It's one of the more entertaining first season episodes. It introduced one of the fan favorite songs, at least fan favorite as far as I know. And well, all around, it really shows how to tell a good story while explaining its world's own laws. And that's kind of what I want to get into with this review. I know last review I was going to talk about how different characters' voices change over seasons, but this one I want to talk about basically the laws of a world and how they can differ from the normal world. Now, in Equestria's winter, when it's time to start cleaning, basically, either depending on where you live, and more specifically in Canterlot, they apparently use magic to clean up winter, make it go fast and quick. While in Ponyville, they take their time and do everything by hand. And with that, that's really the difference between where a city and a small town. A city wants to get things done fast because you have more people in said city. And if the said city isn't cleaned up fast enough, then it's a mess and certain things can't happen. But in a small town, say like Ponyville, you're able to take time and make sure everything's done properly. And that's kind of where the episode somewhat takes root in a certain light. Basically what I'm saying here is when in a certain part of the episode where Twilight tries to use her magic to help out AJ, her magic mess up, and that's just meant to show that yes, magic gets the job done quickly, but in an environment like Ponyville, it hurts the environment. It hurts the whole progression of certain stuff. Now, let me think. Now, I want to talk about the animal feature of this episode. Now, in the episode, it explains that pretty much the people of Ponyville do everything for the birds and other animals. They wake them up, they build their nests, and that's what's interesting. Because in the real world, when winter comes around, the animals do everything themselves. And that's kind of brings up a topic of where humanity could lead with nature itself. And artificial nature. Now, the idea of artificial nature, is basically an environment man-made and basically entirely controlled by people. And this is kind of what Ponyville is presented as. Well, and who knows, maybe other places, but in many cases, it can present problems. Like, you're basically making the animals be reliant on pony kind. And mind you, that's not a bad thing, because it's explained in the pony universe that many things are controlled by them. But it kind of brings up the question, what happens when pony kind is no longer there to help maintain order? Because we've seen what happened if, say, one princess just takes power. The show gave us an idea in some episodes where basically it's chaos if the princesses don't keep control over the sun and moon. Like we know, and over Everfree and such. It causes chaos. And with that, it can lead to many problems. But again, that does bring up a question. What happens when pony kind is gone? And more importantly, if humanity leads this way, what happens to the world after humans are gone? And many shows talk about that in apocalyptic settings, but what if there was no apocalypse? Take the Ponyville, for example. What happens when every pony decides to move out of Ponyville? Well, from what I've gathered from episodes and such, Everfree grows out of control, and from what I can tell is law and order takes effect again when Everfree grows, because Everfree doesn't rely on ponies. It relies on itself to maintain everything. But what happens when the animals come into effect? Well, we know what kind of creatures live in Everfree, and it kind of leads to the idea that many of the normal animals that we see Fluttershy take care of, they wouldn't even survive in that state of place. They would either die out or, well, adapt and become like one of the many creatures in Everfree who are wild. That's not a bad thing, but it does lead to many ideas. Let's move past this for right now and talk about the song Winter Wrap Up. And it's really one of my favorites of the show. I was even thinking about doing a rewrite of my own version for that song at one point. But I didn't, obviously, or else I would have shared it with you guys. Now, the song presents everything to us. It tells us that the ponies control the weather, they control the vegetation growth, and they control how the animals. And they also control, so weather, animals, and livestock. 3 attributes that you need to survive. And again, it kind of gives you the idea that without pony kind being there, it could present itself as chaos. And it gives off the idea that, well, if humanity leaves, then it would be the perfect Ponyville without ponies is the perfect example of humans without, basically Earth without humans, in a way. Everything just overgrows and becomes wild again. There's no order. There's just creatures being creatures, life being life. There's no real thought process in it. So yeah, and the song, its melody is great, but I always kind of found this episode to be slightly slow than some episodes. Mind you, it's season 1, so not every bit of an episode is going to be a hit. There are going to be misses. And also, when you get... Okay, so, jumping ahead, when you get to the end of the episode, near the end, we see AJ, Rainbow Dash, and Fluttershy arguing. And basically, the mayor comes over and tells us that this has happened before. They've always been late for Winter Wrap Up as long as we know. Which is probably since Pony the world development has been going on more and more. And with that in mind, we see a lot of the problems presented to us were done by Twilight and her trying to help. Mind you, by the end of the episode, she helps fixes it, but they never fully acknowledge that it's partially Twilight's fault. It's pretty much like... And also, Spike is kind of the stick is kind of like the torch. There's no easy way to say it. Spike is pretty much the one who provokes Twilight to go out to do all these things. And don't get me wrong, you need a character to push your main character to do things wrongly, to present the episode's argument and such. And honestly, from what I've gathered from this episode is, without a creature making order, chaos grows out. And that's a topic that's kind of hidden back in the early seasons of MLP. Is without Pony Kind, a lot of things would be wild. And it's also presented again back when in one of the season finales involving time travel. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm probably going to save that for another review. But yeah, that's like what I've gathered from Winter Wrap Up. It kind of makes you think, if you really look at it, it kind of gives you an idea of how much is controlled by ponies, by the pony kind. It presents the argument of the idea what happens when pony kind is gone. And again, that's what I take from it. And pretty much the whole premise of the episode is you need organization to get things done. And that's another a good idea to take from this episode. Because without organization and order, there's chaos, and mishaps come from said chaos. So yeah, with that, we hit over 12 minutes probably by the time I'm done talking. And yeah, I've been Rexhard. Make sure to check out another one of my reviews. I hope you like and share this with everyone. And yeah, without that, I bid you all adieu. I'm Rexhard /Firelight / many other OCs, and I'll be seeing you later. Adios.